Griffin the Griffin by BlackWing. Chapter 35. Takeoff.
Well, I guess we should do introductions?
Twilight suggested meekly. Nadine almost skipped forward.
I'm Applejack. I run Sweet Apple Acres with my brother, sister, and granny, Applejack stated proudly. I'm Rarity, and I must say your outfits all need a makeover. Make that all of you need a makeover. I'm Pinkie Pie, and we're going to be the best of friends.
Pinkie bounced around, Nadine eyeing her like a cat does a toy.
I'm Twilight Sparkle, student of Princess Celestia. I'm Rainbow Dash, fastest flyer in Equestria, and future Wonderbolt.
She puffed herself up.
I'm Fluttershy,
she said, while hiding behind her mane.
Cute!
Nadine was about to run and hug her again, but got pounced on by Pinkie, who then started bouncing around her, rambling about parties and such. After finally getting up and dusting herself off, they continued.
Hi, I'm Nadine the Cat. Griffin saved my tribe from imposters, and I joined his crew to go on adventures.
Happy Cat is happy and purrs a lot. She moved out of the way and showed Maria.
Hi. I'm Maria, and, well, I was, one of the imposters, but I didn't want to be, and, I was scared, but Griffin saved me from being eaten, and now they take care of me,
the young Griffin said meekly, almost the same way Fluttershy talks, which caused the yellow Pegasus to look out from behind her mane to see the Griffin trying to avoid eye contact. Nadine responded by patting her head to make her feel more comfortable.
I'm Mitch. This is Growl. He doesn't talk much. We were enslaved after our alpha got beaten, and then he freed us and let us join him,
the shorter dog introduced.
Who's the dragon with the beautiful blue scales on Gilda's back?
Rarity asked.
That's Shimmer. They found her by the body of her mother who had died trying to protect her from another dragon. That was maybe 3 days ago. Poor thing. I lost my mother too, and while Gilda won't tell her, she's lost hers when she was only 8. When she escaped the mines, she had to leave her family behind, so now we've all made a new family, Nadine explained solemnly. She was really sad, remembering her own mother. Only now just realizing the entire crew was made up of all who had lost families. The 6 ponies felt downright terrible about the situation. Applejack finally broke the silence. Doesn't it bother y'all, being lied to? What do you mean?
Maria asked.
Well, I mean he's a liar. He's going about spilling some sob story trying to get y'all to follow him. He's not a liar. Well, okay, maybe he lies, but he never lies to us. We're his crew, his family.
Nadine started glaring at the orange earth pony.
He's really got y'all believing that, don't he? Let me guess, he told y'all he's an alien too? Yes, and he showed us what he really looks like as well.
Nadine was getting mad. Growl was, growling, in a low tone, but clearly not happy at the accusations they were taking.
Well, he draw you a picture or something?
No.
He used magic to change himself back. Then why is he still a griffin?
Twilight asked.
Because his real form is weaker and doesn't have wings, so he changed back again.
Nadine deadpanned. They all sat there for a moment before they burst out into laughter.
Oh, you really had us going there. He used magic? He's not a unicorn.
Nadine turned to the dogs, pointed at the group of ponies, and then put a finger to her mouth. Etch and Growl got the hint, stepped forward and pointed their gem spears and...
Oomra!
Suddenly, everything went quiet. The ponies turned and looked at each other. They tried to talk, and when they realized they couldn't, all but Fluttershy gave a silent shriek of horror, which slowly gave way to an audible one.
What? But huh?
Twilight looked like her brain was about to break.
Magic. Later learned, taught to us,
Growl stated in his low, gravelly voice.
But there's no spells I know that can take a unicorn's voice away from somebody else.
It's weaker, but can do different things,
Etch added. Nadine just smirked.
He learned magic for revealing hidden things, and then he used it on himself to show us what he looks like. Really? Well, that I'd like to see. A whole new type of magic. So many possibilities.
And thus, Twilight began to geek out.
Show me more.
No.
What? Why not?
She pouted and had pleading eyes.
Because the leader did not say so. We proved point. Did not want to give away Captain's secrets,
Grell explained. Strange for the guy who never talks. Attention passengers! We'll be launching in 5 minutes. The deck will lift in 30 seconds. Brace yourselves. Steelhorn's voice came over the speaker system. Well, let's go back to our rooms. It's going to be very hot up here in a couple of minutes. And with that, the crew headed below deck, followed by the main 6, as they all headed to the same place. Alright, Gilda, pull the lever on 3. 1, 2, 3. Pulling the levers at the same time on opposite ends of the hangar, the 4 massive round triangles that made up the dome began to lift. At first, small cracks of light began seeping through, growing until a blinding light and the sun filtered in all its glory. We shielded our eyes to it. After all, we had been looking at the soft, artificial lighting for the past day and a half. From the outside, it would have looked like it was a giant concrete flower opening. The 4 pieces finally rested on the full open position with a thud, a gust of hot wind blowing the cool air away and washing over my body. Man, I hate the heat. As soon as I get this done, the sooner I can get back to a nice, cold airship. Definitely downsides to being a Canadian white boy. I thought the jungle would get me used to it, but volcanoes are damn hot! The sunlight shining off the metal hull of the ship made it sparkle like the finest cut diamond in a dizzying array of color. It was absolutely fucking gorgeous. Steelhorn had explained a little bit of the ship's mechanics to me. A seamless balloon that always contains the same amount of air, a large number of very small fire rubies inside. The conduits transfer power from an extremely large, rare sun diamond, which was grown for 10 years while he built the ship. When fire rubies get overloaded, they generate heat. So when the high magic slurry of gem water passed through the underside, they gave more magic than the ruby could handle, which turned to heat, which gives it to the balloon. The heat in the air causes it to rise, and to go down, it does the same thing, but with frost amethysts. The balloon itself doesn't expand or contract, only minimally. It's actually attached to the solid skin of the hull. Quite ingenious if you actually think about it. The biggest weak point on the ship is permanently attached to a near impenetrable armor. It's an ironclad airship, except with Valkyrite, or whatever that is instead. He said it would take a nest of dragons to sink it, and so I tried to forget about the fact that there was one about 10 or so nests just inside that volcano. As the majestic ship rose into the air, Gilda and I flew around to make sure it didn't contact anything. Also, the reason the bunker was so cold made it easier for the ship to rise with the hot air inside it. There wasn't a problem at all. Big as it was, there was plenty of room all around. The engines, only one of the external parts, 4 of them, placed in an X formation along the outside, began spinning up. It was nearly blinding to look at in the midday sun. The bastard had actually planned it that way to give it the best first impression. Clever devil. It steadily rose up until it was completely free of its confines. I flew up in front of the reinforced glass plane that held the bridge behind it, and signaled that they were clear before the ship started moving north towards the sea. Gilda motioned everything that was good on her end, and the 2 of us flanked the possibility on its maiden voyage. It only took 2 minutes to get it to the sea, as the dock had been built fairly close to the shore, and despite being a blimp, it was much faster than most inflatable aircraft. About an hour later, we were out on the open sea, the shore still visible in the distance, and the cool ocean air replacing the heat of the volcanic wastes. Bidding that boiling hell goodbye and so long to the toxic ash clouds, the possibility opened up, letting us land and get something to eat. We all went to our rooms, took off our stuff, and then went to the mess hall, where the main 6 were waiting. Steelhorn came down from the upper levels on a ladder, standing on the landing deck for a moment to admire the sea, before coming down and joining us. So, Griff, what do you think? Will she be good enough to bear you to the Old Dominion? Hot damn, Steel. So shiny it looked like there were 2 suns out there. An oddly shaped rainbow-colored sun, but a sun nonetheless. Forget guns, we'll just blind them. Thing of beauty, isn't she? 25 years and she's finally lifted off. She's my dream, and she's finally taken flight. The old Minotaur had a tear in his eye. Your cat's got the flying thing down. They're the ones that brought her out of port, I have to say. I like the captain's chair, although I suppose for the next while you'll be sitting in it, won't you? Ah, no, I can't take that away from you. I'm more of an upfront kind of a guy. I'll let you captain the ship while I captain the crew. Fair deal?
Aye. He shook my claw. Well, I have to leave you to your meal. I've been up the past 3 days trying to get her ready, and I think I'll go lie down for a bit. He then marched off to get some rest. So, you're the buyer, then? Twilight looked at me strangely. Yep, raided an ancient temple and got a load of gold out of it. And it's not really buying as much as it is renting. Once we're done with it, he'll get it back and sell it. Although, considering only Celestia and Luna can afford the damn thing, well, maybe Fancy Pants. He doesn't really have that much of a pick of buyers. He says it's all about money, but I know a sailor when I see one. The journey is his dream, not the money. Although, getting loaded can't hurt. Now, I know you're all dying with questions, so... Alright, ask away. I'll answer if I feel like it. Do you really know magic? Twilight started almost instantly. Yes, I do. Figured it out in the jungle, and it's really simple. I mean, as soon as I found an example of how to use it, I put it together with whatever else I already knew from legends, and BAM! I got a whole load of spells. I taught some of the more useful ones to my crew. Would you mind, showing me? She asked, fluttering her eyes. No, and I don't mean I don't mind. I mean, no, I won't show you. You've already got magic. I'm not about to tell you how mine works. She pouted angrily, then let out a sigh of defeat. Well, we're stuck with each other for the next week, and our rooms are right next door to yours, so I suggest we get along. I don't want anyone getting thrown off the ship. Is it true that you're an alien, or you've been lying about that too? Applejack scowled. That's right! You told me you were an alien, and then you stole those books! Give them back! Twilight demanded with renewed vigor. Hey, I didn't steal them, I borrowed them. You said borrowing them was okay. This was just for an unknown amount of time, is all. I have them in my room, and I've copied all the important stuff down to my own notes anyways. So, sure, yeah, you can have them back. As for if I'm an alien or not, I am. Because of that, I knew a fair bit about this world before I got here. Well, about Equestria anyway. Didn't know about the rest of it, and the rest of it is so similar to my home it sickens me. I couldn't do anything about it there, but here I can, so I'm gonna. He ain't lying, Twi, I can tell. Although, I think he's just crazy and really believes what he's telling us, Applejack added. Oh, well, believe whatever you want.
Hey, I know! Why don't you all show us what you really look like, Griffy?
Pinky piped up. Yeah, then we know you ain't lying or crazy, Applejack added.
I want to see what you look like without wings and claws. I beat the stuffing out of you before, but I could do it when you were yourself.
Dash bragged. Nope, I'm not going to show you. 1. Dash will kill me. I am weaker and wingless in that form, with no claws or a beak. I am literally defenseless. I don't feel like dying. 2. I don't want you to know what I look like. How else am I supposed to hide later on if everyone else knows my forms? 3. I'm not showing you my magic because then I'll spend the next forever being an egghead with Twilight.
Rationalize it all you want. The fact that you won't show us just proves you're making it up.
Applejack spat. I gave a sigh. Try and convince me all you want, but the fact that Dashy here will kick my ass is all the motivation I need to not show you. Let's go get the books, Twi. Come with me. The purple unicorn and I walked through the bowels of the ship, and I noticed she was looking at me funny. Probably a mix of fear and curiosity. After all, I'm a pirate who discovered magic, so I'm a brutish barbarian scholar with a sense of humor and a talent for acting. Yep, she has no idea what's going on in my head, and she probably thinks I'm nuts. Excuse me. Oh, letters! I snatched them up before Twilight could pick them up.
Hey!
What?
Only Princess Celestia sends letters like that.
So?
She's obviously trying to contact me.
Guess again.
What?
I showed her the first line of both the letters, each saying, Dear Griffin the Griffin, and she backed off.
So, you write letters to the princesses too?
She asked nervously, trying to take a peek at what was on them. Yep, quite often, in fact.
Did you happen to ask how ponies could hold things without fingers?
She raised her eyebrow.
I knew it!
Knew what? She asked. She told me such information is integral to the equestrian lifestyle and will not be given to pirates. Basically, she didn't know. It's been killing me forever. I mean, how? I kind of figured she might ask you about that one, since she said that.
Do you have any idea how much trouble that's been giving me?
She got red in the face. I spent weeks and barely figured out anything, and then I started seeing other things, like I put a scroll away, but I didn't have saddlebags.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. But I wasn't going to ask that one until I got an answer back on the hoof thing. I mean, Pinky has her party cannon, which comes out of nowhere, right?
How do you know about the party cannon?
Alien, remember?
Right.
We reached the rooms, and I went into mine and brought her books, passing them to her. Go store these in your room. I need to write a letter to the princess, and I'll be right out. She took them in her telekinetic grasp and went to her room, closed the door, and presumably to check them for damage. I changed into my human form, then wrote a response letter. Dear Princess Celestia and Luna, in response to your letters, Echo is not a member of my crew. We met for a time, but we went our separate ways. He's a hero in Wet Hoof now for dealing with the Hydra problem. He deserves a medal or something. Luna, sorry, but I killed your pet. Actually, my crew did while I was distracted trying to eat me! Considering the fact that you raised an 8-legged demon and all spiders exist for the sole purpose of tormenting me, I regretfully inform you that you are no longer best pony. That honor goes to Twilight, who is the only one who didn't try to hurt me or cower in fear. Speaking of which, all your element bearers are belong to us. That's right, they found me. And they're here with me now. Don't worry, they're fine. And while they're still trying to capture me, I'll be dumping them off when we reach port. You'll hear from them again when they reach Ponyville, because against her better judgment, Twilight left Spike home. Again. Seriously, why does she cut herself off from her only lifeline if she gets in trouble she can't handle? I mean, she could just write you a letter telling you where we are, and you'd come and arrest us, but no! She has to do things the hard way. Can you please talk some sense into her? Also, I really am an alien. There are actually a couple of us running around, having been changed into ponies, diamond dogs, griffins, and whatever else by Equestria's magic or something. One was brought here by Discord to cause chaos, but instead wound up playing hero and is surprisingly good at it. I don't know who sent me here, just some old guy. Sincerely, Equestria's most wanted, Griffin. P.S. Mayor Frost's snap is a dick, endangering the entire village while he's in charge of to try and get a revenge he enacted on long ago on a diamond dog, Echo, whose only crime was trying to help. He's got more screws loose than I do. Hopefully, I gave him a little bit of humility. I sent the letter off, then walked out of my room and knocked on Twilight's door. Yep, hold on, I'm coming. She opened it up. Hello? How can I help you? She asked nervously, seeing that I was far taller than her. Oh, what's the matter? Don't you recognize me? For shame, Twilight. At hearing my voice, her pupils turned at pinpricks. What? Cat got your tongue? Or should I say, Griffin? I raised my eyebrow. Then, you really are. She just stared and I snickered. Yep. So you weren't lying? Nope. And you're not crazy? Jerry's still out on that one, I chuckled. For a couple minutes, she just stood there, looking me over. My brown hair, blue eyes, red and black shirt, jeans, shoes, my stature and form. I snapped my fingers, bringing her to attention again. Huh? Oh, sorry. Well, as much as I'd like to stand here and let you gawk at me while making mental notes, we'd better get back before Rainbow and AJ think I've kidnapped you or something. And come down here and beat me up. I went to my room, closed the door, and as quickly as I could, removed the amulet and said Reverti and replaced it, then put on my armor and weapons. Alright, let's go. I began walking, and she just stayed where she was. Why? She asked. Why what? Why did you show me? Simple. We're the same. And no, I don't mean species or goals. I mean personality. We're both excellent planners. It's how I got this far. We have a hunger for knowledge, and a nasty case of obsessive-compulsive disorder. Everything has to be just so, or we freak out. We try to control every aspect of our lives, plan for every possible outcome, and you a little bit more than I, as I know how to be spontaneous as well, as I proved with Pinky during that improvisation, which, by the way, you should definitely work with Rarity and Fluttershy to make a romance novel out of. The fact is, if I were in your position, not knowing whether or not being a native to this universe was standing right in front of me would drive me insane. So, I spared you the self-doubt. But I'm not heartless. I then continued walking. She gave a warm smile, then instead of walking behind me to make sure I didn't try anything, walked next to me. So the reason you ran to your room and closed the door was that you didn't want me to see your magic? You got it. Oh, why not? She pouted. Again, if you figured out how it works, then knowing you, brilliant as you are, you'd find a way to use it against me. Let's not forget, I'm still a pirate, and you're still a pirate hunter. We're technically enemies, so despite us being pleasant with each other, eventually when we reach port, you're going to try to capture me, and I'm going to try to escape. I don't want to give you any more information than I have to. It's a shame. Under different circumstances, we'd be friends. Yeah, we could spend all day going over magical theory. I'd probably be famous at the Candlelight Institute or Academy or whatever, finding ways to let Pegasi, Earth Ponies, and even Griffins and Diamond Dogs use magic. I'd have worldwide renown. Here, how about this? If you capture me, I'll spend as much time as you want explaining it to you from prison. Sound fair? She googled. Deal. So, let me get this straight. More than 1,000,000 times the information held in the Canterlot Library, and you can access any amount of it anytime you want? Yep. All from something that fits in your hoof. No sorting, filing, and it's brought to the exact page, paragraph, sentence, all in order of relevance to what you searched? That's right, except anyone can put stuff in there. And despite having unlimited capacity, the majority of the stuff is the kind of things you'd find only if you opened up Discord's head. Why is that? Because despite not having magic of any kind, we're more chaotic than draconic wines? Discord actually came to my world before yours, and he couldn't do anything. Anytime he tried causing chaos, nothing would happen because it was already too chaotic. He enjoyed it, then decided he wanted to cause chaos instead of finding a pile of it to roll in. So he found your world and started wreaking havoc. So that's why your world is like the ever-free forest? Animals taking care of themselves and clouds moving on their own? It sounds awful. The thing is, we're the weakest creatures in our weight class. No fangs, claws, poison, or defenses of any kind. We had to become cruel and cunning to survive. Now the world has changed, and it was no longer needed, but we haven't got rid of it yet. And we never will. Why? Because people are cruel to each other. And so to survive, you have to become the same way. I didn't, so it was hell for me, or Tartarus, as you ponies would say. I don't want to go into detail, because I already told enough of the specifics to Rarity. But that's why I'm trying so hard, breaking the rules, not letting anything stand in my way. Because this world is amazing, but there's a part of it that's broken and needs fixing. Nobody else is gonna do it, so I am. I hope I can pull it off, because Griffins don't have another 1,000 years. Huh? 7,000 living free, dwindling due to hunger, sickness, and being eaten by dragons, manticores, whatever. Who knows how many in captivity? The mortality rate is high, the birth rate is near non-existent. By my guess, 10, 20 years tops before Griffins go extinct. Since most animals get taken care of around here, there are no endangered species problems, and since Griffins aren't animals as much as people, they don't fit the bill. It's disturbing that nobody knows about this. Ignorance is the problem. One day a species just blinks out of existence, and nobody would know until it's too late to do anything about it. Promise me this. If I fail, you'll spread awareness. Ponies are good-natured. If enough of them stand up to do something about it, they might actually change it. That way, even if I die, or spend the rest of my life behind bars, I'll have succeeded. Okay, I promise. Good. Now let's get back to your friends.
Ooh, maybe he's an octopus alien thing that comes from like those comics from what I see in Japoni.
No! And why are you reading those things? Rarity asked, disturbed by the mental image.
They're interesting. Ha! I never thought someone like you would be into pony.
Gilda laughed at the apparently perverse pink party pony. I've seen enough My Little Pony to know where this is going. What is wrong with my brain?
Well, you're back. Took you long enough.
Dash tapped her hoof impatiently. Yeah, I ended up showing Twilight what I look like, and we talked for a bit. So it took a little longer than we thought. So then, is he? Applejack began.
Yes, AJ, he's an alien. Ooh, does he have tentacles?
Pinky piped up. No, I look like Nadine, but with no furs or a tail.
We were having fun letting her guess.
Maria, who had become a bit more sociable, stated. Well, now that I've got that taken care of, I suggest we settle in. We'll be pleasant with each other till we reach port in a week, and then we'll fight or whatever. So, anybody got a deck of cards? Just as Pinky pulled a deck out of nowhere, which earned her a thoughtful glare from Twilight, who then dismissed it as just Pinky being Pinky, an alarm began to blare, making her drop them.
All hands! Battle stations! Inbound targets from the south! Total count 6. Prepare to raise the deck!
I looked out the back of the deck, still able to see the volcanic waste on the horizon, with a number of black specks slowly getting larger as they approached. Big, fast-flying thing coming from the south. The sun is shining on the ship, making us a beacon for dragons. Good thing I got my sword charged. I'll have to drink dragon blood while I'm out there. All of you, get to your rooms. This place is gonna get busy in a sec. Trix, get on. Gilda, Nadine, your bows will be useless out there. Stay with the ship and direct the crew. You 6, get to the bridge. There you can watch the action from there. Edge, Growl, keep them safe. If Steelhorn tries to kick you out, tell him I told you to go there. Go! All did as we're told, except Twilight and Shimmer, who stayed behind to ask.
What's going on?
Shimmer, remember the dragon your mom fought? She thought for a second, then started crying. The unicorn suddenly realized what I meant.
How many?
Twilight asked. 6, maybe more.
Sweet Celestia, it took one of them to take down the ship we arrived on.
And now you're about to see why I am Equestria's most wanted. Shimmer, go with Twilight to the bridge. You'll be safe there. I've got dragons to kill. I dove out of the ship right before it sealed its shelf shut. I flew out around the back as it came about, its cannons popping out of the side, preparing to meet the attack head-on. I looked back to see the main 6 and Shimmer on the other side of the glass, with Steelhorn in the captain's chair, wearing a Napoleon hat and smoking a pipe. The ponies and dragon looked worried, while the Monitor looked stern. Hovering between the gleaming airship Possibility and 6 approaching dragons who were now visible, a full 2 rows of cannons behind me, pointing out their hatches, ready to open up on the armored lizards once they got in range. I drew my blade and held it at my side, brought it around, and swung it forward to face the approaching threats. Here there be dragons.
Have at ye!